What's good, boys? In this video I will be explaining my 6-figure trading playbook that you can literally download for free. I'm not gonna ask you any money, I'm not gonna sell any course, you don't have to buy anything, it's literally for free. In this video I will be explaining the playbook step by step and I will cover my whole strategy. Let's get into it. So super easy, my strategy contains 4 simple steps. The first step will be a supply or a demand zone on the 4-hour time frame. Next we will be looking for a lower time frame support and resistance area. The third concept is my entry model, and the fourth thing is my risk management plan. These are the only steps that we need to literally trade this strategy. First of all, let's go over supply and demand. Super simple. Supply and demand, how can you literally identify the perfect area in the market and how do you know it's a good one? I have a super clean example from a trade that I took last week and I will literally try to cover it as if I'm explaining it to a child. So let's go to the chart. As all of you probably know, supply and demand is where there are a lot of orders, and how can you actually know that this is the place where there are a lot of orders? Guys, super easy. Try to look at the size of the candle, all right? This candle right here is super big compared to all the other candles. We all of a sudden have 1, 2, 3 super big bearish candles. If we look at the overall market, we can clearly see that we are in a bearish trend, so I will be only looking for sells, of course, and the next thing I will do is look for a super clean supply zone. Back in the replay mode, what could we see before entering this trade? This was a super clean supply. Again, why? Because we have a super strong candle, and I always try to say it like this: look at where your last big push started. If you take your arrows, this can be childish, but this helps me a lot, me and my students a lot. If you take your arrows and you just see it where the last big push started, super easy, remove the arrows. The last big push was right here. Put it on your chart. The last big push was right here. This is your supply and demand. This is how easy you can mark out supply and demand zones. Now this is of course a supply. For example, this would have been a super good demand zone. Why didn't I trade this? Because this was already too long ago and the recent market structure was bearish. But again, how could you identify this? Super easy, take your arrows. Where is my last big push? It would have been right there. So again, how to mark out supply and demand? Take your arrows, take your childish, stupid fucking arrows, mark out your last big push, and this is where you would like to trade off. Next, super easy. What are we gonna do with the supply and demand? We will be going over to the lower time frame support and resistance. What is lower time frame? For me, this will be the 1 hour lower time frame support and resistance. This contains super easy. I need to see a little bloksken, all right? In Dutch, I call this a little bloksken, a small rectangle on the chart that just shows a little bit of a consolidation. And for example, if this was our 4-hour chart and we would be trading right here of this demand zone, in this demand zone, so right here, I need to see some sort of consolidation, some sort of lower time frame support or resistance that looks like this. That's exactly what I would like to see on the lower time frame right here. If we go into the market, where are we, on USD JPY, and we go actually over to the 1-hour time frame, you can see exactly that we literally have this bloksken, like how I say it, and that we have and that we have a support area right here. As you can see, we have a small one right here. We reject it, we reject it, we reject it, we reject it. Again, we reject it, reject it, reject it, reject it. And then all of a sudden, complete breakthrough, super strong candles. And this is the point where I would like to start trading. So, super strong. We have our support and resistance. Now, where would I place my zone? And I am going to place it on my support and resistance on the lower time frame, because there it matches with my supply area, and there is a supply area, there is a support and resistance. I don't need to see anything more. I don't want to mark out any more levels because I don't want to overcomplicate my chart. It is this simple, so that's exactly what I will do. This is the first 2 steps of my fucking strategy. This is how easy it is. You look if you're in a bullish market or in a bearish market. You mark out your supplies and your demands based on the last big push, based on super strong momentum, based on super big strong candles. You go over to the 1-hour time frame, lower time frame, and you mark out your little bloksken support and resistance, little small consolidation, as you can see right here. That's it for your area, all right? Next step, wait until price gets there. Okay, super easy. We just wait. All right, here we go. Price tapped in our area, not exactly our area, but it doesn't really matter. We came close to it. We respected the support area that we broke. Now turn it into a resistance. We came into our 4-hour supply. Next, our entry model. Again, another super easy concept, guys. So we've seen this. Third step, entry model. Let's say, for example, you are looking for a sell, you have a bearish market, and this is where you will be looking to take a sell. This will be your supply and demand, and your lower time frame resistance will be in here. What has to happen exactly before I enter? Super simple. What I just explained to you on the 4-hour time frame has to happen on the 15-minute time frame. So if you come over to this area right here, once price stepped into my area, I would like to see something like this. So imagine this whole move. Let us recreate that. This is our big supply zone from the 4-hour. On the 15 minutes, we are coming into it. Bam, 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 bam. Tap into our area. What is the next thing that I need to see? I want to see a break of structure. So we need to break our last low. Why? Because this gives me super small confirmation that we are actually giving signs of turning bearish, that we are ready to go into the other direction of a reversal. Next, I need to see a strong no supply being created on the 15 minutes. So I really like it when price all of a sudden does this, literally stronger than all the candles before, exactly as how I explained it on the 4-hour. I need a big candle to literally, the candle needs to say to me like, all right, I'm ready. I want you to enter. The candle needs to talk to me and say like, guys, I'm ready. I'm big as fuck. Here I am. Supply is valid. I'll be breaking all the lows. And then, you know, we have a valid supply zone on the 15-minute. All I would like to see is literally just a tap in there. I will enter and price will 70% of the times go down. Of course, 70% of the times my win rate is not 100%. I'm not a multi-millionaire. Of course, trading works with probabilities, and exactly this strategy proves that I have like 65 to 70% win rate in the whole 2025. So again, what has to happen? We need to break the lows, need to create a nice, super small supply zone, tap in there. This is exactly where I will enter. So 4-hour strong supply or demand, lower time frames, exactly the same thing has to happen. Alright guys, so let's now go into a live example of a trade that I took. This is ADC chap. As you can see, we have a super strong push down. Where is our last push? Right here. If you take your stupid arrows, you can clearly see this was your last push down. Supply zone is right there. Next, what do we need on the 15-minute? Also, wait, on the 1-hour, we have our little support and resistance. Support. We broke it. Everything is there. On the 15 minutes, I need to see a tap in my area, break of structure, new supply zone, and that's it. Let's see what happens. Still no break of structure. There we go. So what's next? We have our supply zone that we created right here. We have a little consolidation, if you can call it, support breakout. We broke all these lows, which gives it even more confirmation. Next, everything I need to do is just wait for a tap in there, and then I will enter. Let's see what happens. There we go. So we got our tap. This is my entry. Bam. TP all the way down. I will cover TP and stop loss in a minute. Don't worry about it yet. What can we see? What happens next? This is spread candle. Don't worry. I was fully aware of this. I removed my stop loss in case spreads would have been very high. So nothing to worry about that. And then after that, let me go to the 1-hour time frame so it goes faster. You can see price just floods down and smacks TP. So this is the entry model. This is step 3. What is the next step that I had marked out for you guys? It was risk management plan. So I will cover stop loss placement, break even placement, and take profit placement. So super short for my stop loss placement, I will always place it above the last 4-hour high from my area. All right, this is not my 4-hour high. this is my 4-hour high. Why? Because this is where I had located my supply area and where I would like to take a trade from. So I mark out my stop loss level with a red line like this, and I give stop loss a few pips of breathing room just in case it goes there, and there is spread, of course. So I calculate spread with my stop loss. That's it. This is my stop loss. Now my break even level, super easy. How do I base my break even level? I just reverse my trading. So imagine if I am in this trade, and let's say, for example, I am going to take a trade in the other direction. Okay, I am a supply and demand trader. Let's say, for example, I enter here and turn it around. Where do I like to see a buy? Right, super easy. I'm gonna mark out the closest demand zone. This is a 15-minute demand zone, 1-hour demand zone. This is where I will move my stop loss to break even. I just put an alert there. Once it hits, I'm putting my stop loss to break even. That's it. I really like to keep it safe. I don't like to target 8, 9, 10 risk reward and not remove my stop and not move my stop loss to break even. I will go to break even rather fast. I don't like to lose. I hate losing in these markets, so I'd rather give up a win and make $0 than lose in these markets. Next, my full TP would be the last 4-hour lows, which in this case would have been a 7 risk reward. But what happened due to my risk management, I already closed around these lows, because again, this is a demand zone that we were rejecting, that we were expecting. For me, it didn't matter. It was almost a 5 risk reward, so I was super happy with this trade. Super short, let's cover it all again. All right, so 4-hour basic market structure. Are we bullish or bearish? Next, you will look for the last big push up, which is right here. Mark out your area, go to the 1-hour time frame and look for a small consolidation inside this area. Bam, bam. We need a breakout from this, super strong. This breakout is this big push. All right, super easy. This big breakout has to be this big push. Next, we will wait for the 15 minutes. On the 15 minutes, we would need to see the exact same thing as we saw on the 4-hour. So we come into our area, bam, super strong rejection, super strong new candle up. We create a new demand. We break previous, we break previous highs, we break previous structure, we all go above it, we create a new demand zone, we retest it, we enter. That's it for the trade idea. Next, stop loss placement below the last 4-hour low. Super easy, below this low. Break even level on a valid 15-minute supply or demand area in the other direction. So in this case, this would create a nice strong supply. This is where I would move my stop loss to break even. Take profit on the next 4-hour high. That's it. Guys, the playbook is completely free. All you have to do is join my Discord and download it. You don't have to pay anything. My Discord is free down below. This covers my entire strategy. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like the playbook. If you have any questions about it, make sure to ask. See you in the next video.